Effort versus Curious.
Game number 2 is live. Effort starting to the bottom left is currently down 1 game in the best of 3. This is of course our first best of 3 of the day, so let's see if his opponent can finish it out with the 2-0. Effort here of course needs to step it up a little bit, but he's a great Zerg versus Zerg player, he just has to show it.
Certainly does. And he's up against this guy, the top right in the blue. It's Curious, there's a shot of him. And Curious is called the Stone Cold Killer because he removes his emotions from his play, and you can just see it on his face. Doesn't get stressed, doesn't get nervous. You know, you and I used to call Effort the lowrider Zerg, but it seems like he sits up in his chair these days. I'm really disappointed.
Yeah, he definitely improved his posture when he first switched over to StarCraft II, guys. If you can catch some of the old VODs, he leaned back to a degree that he nearly like slid under the table, and it was a very interesting posture to use there, and probably at some point his mother came over and was like, dude, I saw you in camera, and that's not good for your back. You have to change that right now.
It's not good for your image. Definitely something he's improved. But I'm sad to see him sitting up straight personally, because I liked him being the lowrider Zerg.
It was definitely a nickname that he very much deserved. But Curious, you know, we called him for a long time the Gatekeeper.
Yeah.
And he starts to be exactly that.
Yeah, this is just what he's known for, either getting into Code S himself or preventing others to be in Code S. Basically, it's like if you beat this guy, you can go straight to Code S. You have to get through Curious first. He's always on the cusp, like he's always right on the edge of Code S.
You know, Curious is doing something that I actually like quite a bit. Game number 1 starts with the 10 pool, puts on the screws. Game number 2 is really relaxed here and starts with hatch first into gas and goes for the latest pool that you could possibly get, basically.
Yeah.
So he's definitely in a position where he says like, yep, you're not going to attack me. You're probably going to be really afraid that I'm going to attack you again, so I'm going to sit here, I'm going to take my economy, and I'll get a tiny little bit ahead of you.
Yeah, and this is something that Effort has to be concerned about. And goes for actually a faster pool himself as a result, and that's something, you know, when you lose to a strategy that is very aggressive, you think in game 2, well, he might just do it again because he's up 1-0 in this best of 3 series, and I don't want to lose that way. So you play a little bit safer, then Curious plays greedy, and he just gets ahead by getting into your head just a little bit.
Exactly. It's mind games as well. This is a little bit like poker. It's StarCraft poker. It's build order poker. It's kind of getting ahead in your, getting into your opponent's head and trying to get a bit of an advantage. And in this particular scenario, Curious won the poker game and gets the better build order compared to Effort. Doesn't win him the game or anything, but it gives him that slight advantage that might lead to a bigger one later.
Yep. Trying to get the Zerglings around on this egg here. Ooh, nice micro there by Curious, and actually he's going to get the better trade here, especially with the 3 and 4 Zerglings coming out.
Yeah, Curious has a good spot there. The one thing that amazes me always is just seeing Effort's APM. He's always up at 400, and it's a little bit crazy. That guy is fast.
Yeah, he's really fast. It's something he was known for in StarCraft 1 and carries it over to StarCraft 2. He's been doing it for a long time here already.
Effort even starting things off with the Spine Crawler at the beginning. You can really see that he wants to play this a bit more passive, and that might also be a result from game number 1. He doesn't really know what he's up against, so playing a very passive game there, and that's also because he gets very, he gets the speed later. The speed for Curious is so much faster because of the gas 4 pool that he can now start to be aggressive on the map. That means Effort can't move out because Curious can force engagements, or he can just disengage depending on what number of Zerglings he has there. Effort cannot move out with a small force because he will lose every single Zergling. So he has to play passive right now, and Curious already showing with those 20 Zerglings and the Speedlings that he wants to be super aggressive right now, so that Spinecrawler is definitely going to help Effort to defend.
Yeah, and now when Effort knows what's happening, he needs to set up a wall here if he can. There's the Roach Warren going up as part of the wall. Actually gets denied here for a second, but the Queen's here with the Spinecrawler going to help hold off. He may want to consider, though, well, hold that thought. The Roach Warren getting very low.
Yeah, he's going to break through here, and he's already in 3 Queens in total. Here's the Spinecrawler, a couple of Zerglings trying to help out, but Curious is already starting to attack the Queens. The energy is low. The worst is down. The second one dies as well. The third is a goner, and now only the Spinecrawler is left, and we have even more Zerglings streaming across the map.
This is not looking good right now for Effort. Curious just has so much aggression here. It's so funny that Effort tries to play safe and still gets knocked down here because it's a hard map to wall on. There goes the third Queen, and now it's just Speedlings against slow Zerglings and drones.
Too many drones for Effort. He overdroned a little bit. He identified too late what was going on. Curious just keeping it on 22 Harvesters and going for a Speedling attack, and that worked so well. The wall is gone. The Zerglings, they just disappear. This is GG. Effort is taken down by Curious. The Startail Zerg player takes the 2-0 Quick, nice, and easy in game number 1 here at the GSL Code A.
Yeah, Curious just dominating this series with aggression. And Effort playing a little bit safer in game 2 for the start, but then like you said, he overdroned a little bit, and that was his downfall, overdroning there, then not having enough. And his wall is a bit late. You know, if the Roachborn has a few more hit points because it started a little bit earlier, then maybe he's able to hold on there. Or if he has a second Spine Claw, if he's being even safer. But a surprise attack there by Curious, catching him off guard. And I don't know, I would say this, a lot of people would consider this to be an upset, but I think with Curious, for Zerg versus Zerg, definitely a matchup that he could have taken the 2-0 on.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say that Curious really impressed in this series. He played so well, and he, from the beginning, just had the perfect strategy. And Effort just couldn't read him, especially in game number 1, when Curious started to go into a gas before pool, so he got that advantage with the speed. And Effort already knew something was going on. There was a little bit of danger. That's why he built the Spine Crawler. But then he blocked himself at the wall, didn't get that up in time. That would have given him additional hit points, so he... I'm not quite sure if you could have held there, because those additional seconds, how many was it? 5?
Right.
That gives you a few hit points on the maybe like 5 links dying during that time, but then there were so many for Curious already. It's difficult to call
It's
that.
really hard to say, but I mean, that's definitely something that hurt him in the end of the day, and just... It was really well hidden by Curious as well, not something that Effort really expected. I think he was playing safe, and then he realized, okay, you're probably just going to transition back at home. I don't want to get behind, so I'm going to drone a little bit here. And Curious was just in his head a little bit, and I'm scared for the rest of the players who might have to run into Curious here. If he plays another ZVZ, he might just get out of here with 2 2-0s.
Exactly. It depends a little bit on who wins our next match. Sleep is going up against Ruin, and Sleep, the Zerg player, takes it. Then we have another Zerg versus Zerg coming up in the winner's match. Before we go into game number 2 of the day, ladies and gentlemen, though, we are heading into a 5-minute break, so we're going to see you in a few here at the GSL Code A.